across Canada, the United States, Europe, and the Middle East in voice and musicianship. Vincent's spiritual journey began in 2012 in a quest to understand life, having traveled to over 30 countries. Since 2013, Vincent has traveled to Japan annually and studied with a Zen Buddhist monk in a 600-year-old temple. Experiencing a profound awakening, he decided to make it his life's mission to improving the lives of others. In 2014, he returned to Canada to pursue psychotherapy studies and began practicing as a registered psychotherapist in 2019. His spiritual path deepened significantly more in 2018 when he joined Divine Light Spiritualist Church, becoming a certified spiritual healer, past life regressionist, and spiritual advisor. Vincent is now an entrepreneur, acclaimed speaker, author of Heal the Source and Create Lasting Fulfillment. Is host to the Zero to Infinity podcast, which features inspirational and transformational wisdom to assist in the growth of human consciousness. You can please welcome Vincent Cheng.
Good morning, good day, good evening to all those who are watching. I am so excited to be here. Thank you, Abigail, for the beautiful introduction. Thank you, Reverend Allison, Reverend Lurleen, and Reverend Lindsay, who have invited me to be a part of this. What a journey it has been. I think it was the last time we were in person was, I think, a few years ago. So I'm here today to talk about something that we're all experienced, but I feel having some more time to dive deeper into. And it's this notion of time. And what is your sort of experience with time? You know, as spiritualists, we believe that we're spiritual beings experiencing a human body and a human form, but also the human constructs of time. And well, we are born, we go through life's struggles, joys, through time, as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, as a mother, as a father, as a grandparent. And then we come to this end of life, whether it be late and when we're 95, hopefully, but who knows when that time comes. The time ends when we experience this human death, but how do we have any idea when that happens? So here today, I'm going to talk about my experience through time and how I've been taken through this journey, usually not through my own plan. Let's look at when I first was born. We're put into a school. You know, here remembers you go to school at 9 o'clock, and then at 10:30 you have this recess where you get the break, you play. This is your playtime. Then you go back and you learn math, English, whatever it is, and you have to raise your hand when you have to answer a question and put it down and not talk. And then 12 o'clock is lunchtime, and then you have another recess, and then you go home and then you do your homework. Think about how often that time has been conditioned for you. And here we all talk about, I don't have enough time. I'll never get the time. I just have so little time in the day. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I spent my time doing during the pandemic and how we have such a conditioned lack mindset around most of our lives. You know, we have a lack of time, a lack of money, a lack of joy. I don't have enough time. So I'm here to ask you, and some of you are here, I get to see you. I like to engage with all of you. Hands up if you are thinking about something right now that you're supposed to do maybe later on in the day. All your hands are up, right? Like, why is that? Why are we thinking, I gotta make lunch, I gotta take care of this, and I have to pay a bill. And here, I'm here talking to all of you, and I get it. You know what? Here's somebody I'm first time I'm meeting him, and am I engaged? So I ask, just for a second, to take a moment, to take a breath, and to be present. What is the time that you are spending here? Now, the time I really enjoyed the healing because it's time to really reflect on what I need and what other people need. And here we are, we're always going after something someone else needs, whether it be our job, whether it be family, even our own health. So here you are, maybe for the next 5 minutes, to release what you need to do, or what you thought you were doing, or what you thought you couldn't do well enough, for the next 5 minutes. And focus on the time right now. What can you gain in the time that you have right now? In 5 minutes, maybe your life could be changed. Maybe you could hear something that sparked, oh, I've heard this many times, but today it really made me feel like I'm connected. I'm going to do something about it. And that was my life, most of my life. I went to school. I went to a military school where it was a lot more restrictive than, I think we didn't have recess. It was a choir school, so we were supposed to sing and give concerts and services to the church. Time, from the moment I was 10 years old, it became not my time at all anymore. I wake up, not to my own choosing. Wake up, you got to get to school. You got to put your uniform on. You got to do this. And I was so accustomed to not having time to myself. I grew desensitized. My anger over time was, I just can't even feel it anymore. So think about how often your time, your concept of time, is taken away from you. Do you feel like when you go to work for those 8 hours, 9 to 5, that it's not your time? But somehow you rationalize it and say, well, I'm trading this time to receive this, which is what we all trade time for, usually money. And this money gets me to feed my kids, feed myself. I have shelter over my head. It pays for enjoyment, that I can take a vacation sometimes. But we don't think about time. That's the resource. We think about money more. Like, I need money to pay for my bills, to put this. But if we really take time to reflect on what is time to us, and I realized that I was conditioned to not have control over my time. And that if I don't have control over my time, then who has control over me? So time is also about power. So how you choose to spend your time is a reflection of how much power you have over your own life. Now, you think, well, I only have 24 hours in a day. What can I do with it? More than what you want to spend your time with, it's how you choose to spend your time. That how is the game changer. So let's say I'm going to work. I worked as an engineer, and my only motivation was I was making a lot of money. Actually, that's why I went to school for it, because I was told if you have security and money, then your life will be set. You won't suffer. You won't have, be looked at but looked down upon. Now, that's what I thought life was about. So let's spend all my time studying. Let's spend all my time focused on getting this aspect of time and prestige or security. But over time, I was extremely unhappy. I remember that first semester, I was based in Toronto, but I went to Waterloo. And for the first time, I was out of my house. And here I thought, this expansive environment, all these people were here. And what do I do? I realized more people were having fun than studying. And I realized, why am I spending all this time studying with something I didn't enjoy? Why don't I choose to have fun? And so, in a way, I was rebellious to not having my own time, and I spent it doing what I wanted to do. Now, how many of you have done that? You know what? I worked 5 days this week. I spent all this time. I've sacrificed all of this. Now it's my time. Now it's the weekend. So I'm going to party my ass off. I'm going to drink. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to spend all this money and get out of town. And then now I have to come back to Monday and do it all over again. Well, that was my life. I did it constantly. And I didn't realize that this conflict of giving and taking time back was causing another dimension. I call it physical time, where I began to suffer health issues. There's only so much the body can handle if I work all the time and then I put myself through, eating badly, drinking badly, and staying up all night. So one aspect of time that you can think about is physical time. And why do we need sleep? We need to eat. Think about how your day goes when you haven't had good sleep. I know it's completely ruined. And recently I've been going through, I had an accident 2 years ago, and I totaled the car and I banged my head. And I thought, for the first few months, I'm going through some issues with my head. And after a year, nothing really happened. And then 8 months ago, something happened. I woke up as if like a truck ran me over. And I was like, what is going on? And it turned out that the body, the head, my brain has sustained an injury. So my sleep was horrendous for the longest time, and I didn't know why. And if I don't get enough sleep, guess what's going to happen with my work, with how I help people, with how I even have relationships in my own life? So one thing you can really take time to reflect on is, let's improve our sleep. Let's improve our bodies and our physical time. And for me, again, because of all of that time spent rejecting and rebelling against this other force taking time away from me, I ended up in the hospital. Like, I couldn't walk. My back was hurting so much, and they did all these tests and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. So guess where my time has been spent? My time is spent recovering and healing. So perhaps we can take a step back and look at the perspective of how we want to spend our time. And the one thing that got me in changing my life so many times throughout this lifetime, you could call it, was when I was honest about myself. I was not happy chasing after something someone else told me to do. And when I realized that, I no longer had to cover that unhappiness with something else. Take time back for me and fight for it and spend time back and forth. And a prime example would be the whole pandemic experience. When 2019 hit, my entire music career was shattered, was decimated. I couldn't sing in front of people. I couldn't conduct. I couldn't lead people. And I sat in a hole for 3 months. I was depressed. I was angry. I gave up. I'm like, what do I do now? But then I decided I had a choice. And this is the choice that you all can have anytime. Well, I've been spending 3 months of my time just lost and confused and grieving. How do I want to live? Well, I want to live with some more peace in my life. I want to live with some more inspiration. I want to live with some purpose. And so I had to grieve the loss of my purpose, which was to do music and, feed my passion through it. And out of this came, this is where, that's why we're all here. We want to deepen a connection to our own spirit. I was so busy outside of myself, fighting and catching and chasing, that I lost sight of, hey, who am I? What do I want? And so I asked, if I want to live with more authority, with more leadership, with more fun, with more excitement, with more purpose, well, I focused on how can I help more people? And I couldn't, even my psychotherapy practice, I couldn't see people one-on-one. I couldn't be in the office. We couldn't be in a church together. So what? And one of my traits, and I think that's what is so, and we all have this trait, is persistence. That I'm not going to give up. I'm going to find a way. Yes, I'm not happy about it, but how can I, instead of, I can't. How can I help more people? Well, if I can't see them face to face, let's do a virtual thing. And I was the first to launch a virtual rehearsal music class. I just came up with it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it. And during the pandemic, that's another thing. How can I help more people? Well, if I can't see them face to face, can I see them virtually? You know what? And when I channeled a little bit deeper, I saw and heard, hey, why not write a book? And I'm like, no, I can't write a book. I don't have enough experience. I don't have any credit. But guess what? It came out. I wrote it. And this is the concept that how can I help more people? Now, if everybody had a book that shared some concept of I can change my life, I can do this, I can, you can do this. And when I heard that, when I attended a master class during the same time, virtually, I was inspired. And I could have put this off. I could have said, I can't do this for another 20 years because I don't know, I don't have enough. But I did. And out of this grew so many people that were transformed, including myself. So, how are you spending your time? You have a choice. You can choose to say, I want to spend time with joy. If I'm going to do laundry, yes, I'm thinking about it after this. If I'm going to do laundry, how am I going to do it? Am I going to do it because I have to get it out of the way? Do I have stress? Do I have, why do I have to do it? There's so much, why the kids, pile all this stuff on? Or I could choose to say, I'm doing laundry. And one of the concepts I learned studying with the monk in Japan is this meditative, mindful working. And it's called Samu. Samu is when you're doing laundry, you're just doing laundry. When you're listening to a talk, you're listening to the talk. But we're so conditioned to, I'm in class, when is recess? Recess, I'm dreading class. Lunch, I have to get rid of this. I have to finish this project. We're always past or future. So let's go to the present. And in that present, you then have choice. You have infinite possibilities to choose what is best for you, which is, I want to choose to do laundry with joy and fun and excitement. Maybe I go to work. How can I choose more joy and excitement? So I put that with you. Make your choice. Take some time. And that time, even if it's 5 seconds, puts you out of that cycle to say you do have a choice. You can choose to go to your job that you usually hate to say, how can I enjoy this? How can I be grateful? So I want to thank you all and my gratitude that I've spent time with you and you've spent time with me. And if you want to learn more, if you're so interested, my why, my motivation is how we can help more people be inspired to do and release and share their gifts. So my why is to create a school in every country in the world where we can learn how to better ourselves, to solve our inner conflicts so then our outer conflicts disappear. So I'll put in a link and you can contact me anytime. And if you feel inclined to, you can get a copy of this book where I talk about a lot of these concepts of lack to have, how to get more abundance, how to get more power and choice. So thank you so much. And I will allow Abigail to take over. God bless.
Thank you, Vincent. It's important not to feel guilty about how we spend our time when it is for ourselves. And, you know, I appreciate you talking about that today because it's something that I think everyone here can relate to and relate to struggling with time management, especially when it is time for ourselves and time for the little things that matter to us. And again, it's lovely to see that everyone dedicates this time on a Sunday to join together and spend that time together. So thank you. I now ask for your material offering, which is a donation towards the upkeep and ongoing of our centre. If you are so guided, you can donate through internet banking, and the address of that is eternalhopespiritualistcentre@gmail.com. If we could say together, please, divine love, through me, bless and multiply all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen. Thank you, God. We give thanks for today and the presence of each person. With joy, we commit this offering to be used according to your will in your way, knowing that all things given in love will return to the giver in tenfold. Amen. If I could now ask Reverend Allison to read our announcements, please.
And Vincent, what a lovely talk today. It's really nice to step back and actually pay attention. And as soon as you said, you know, what's going on in our heads, I actually stopped and thought, no, I should be paying attention here. And I cleared my mind so I could give you 100% of it. So thank you for that. Because sometimes we need that reeling back in. So to make us realize what we're actually doing when we should be listening. So thank you. Good reminder. Okay, membership for 2023 is available for $12 for the year, paid by e-transfer at Eternal Hope Spiritual.